He's big in student leadership, a guy named Ed Newton, which probably today, as far as Bible teaching for students, is probably the premier Bible teacher for students. He's very big in what he calls the meta-narrative of the Bible, looking at the Bible as a whole and God's story. And so he is a phenomenal, we've had him here at Cross Church before. It was before I came here, I had him when I was at Springdale. He is an incredible Bible teacher, and Jay Strack is a great motivator for leadership. And so those two speakers will be awesome for whatever level of student come. Jeff Johnson, some of you may remember, he kind of got his start on American Idol back in the day, and good singer. I actually know him from being at Texas, and so he's a great worship leader. Him and his band are going to be there. And then a guy named Drew Worsham. We didn't pick this guy, but he's a part of the deal. He's an illusionist. He is kind of between a Sean Emery and a Brock Gill type deal. He's very entertaining and he's very evangelistic. That's going to be that's the team that we're bringing in to lead that weekend. So, but the host home part, like the part that we're going to need your help on from that angle, is we'll be doing host homes Friday night and Saturday night. Friday night the 24th, Saturday night the 25th. Host homes will provide meals for Saturday breakfast, which can be really, really cheap. It could be donuts or whatever. Saturday dinner, and then possibly a Sunday breakfast. We may do a kind of all donut type thing, which would take that brunt off of it, but the good thing is that the breakfasts are kind of the cheaper meals to do. Now, if you live in an apartment, if you are obviously in college, you probably don't have a place that is big enough to host students, and that's why not at all. So it could be a leader home, or it could be a home of one of the students, okay? It doesn't have to be your home. Because my house is not big enough to put any more than just the people that I call the butlers in my house. And so hopefully in 2.5 months you will have an opportunity to find a good host home for your group, right? We're also going to need leaders in host homes with driving, because here's something that's new. Because of the nature of this event and it being hosted at the Springdale campus, the Friday night and the Saturday portion, there's going to be some driving. Let's just say hopefully God, blesses and all your efforts turn out, and you average 7 students, but you have 10 that weekend. So the host home is going to need to know that they're more than just a host home on this one. We're going to need their help driving. All right, we're going to need their help being a part. And so anybody that you can recruit to help us over the next 2.5 months to drive, if your group, you're man, I really think I'm going to have 9 guys. My car seats 4. So you got to find someone to help drive the other 5. And if the host homes can do that, that's great. If not, if you can, recruit some parents to help out, that would be great. The host home, in the past, what we've tried to do is to help them out a little bit, giving them a gift card. It kind of depends, once we set cost, how much we can give them, but we're trying to keep the meals in the host homes down to a minimum, and maybe even trying to get rid of one of those meals to where there's only 2 and very inexpensive type meals. The tentative schedule, on that Friday the 24th, we're going to meet it here to orientate and to get all the groups together, and then we will leave to go to that part of the conference, which is called Lift, all right? And that'll be the theme for the weekend. We'll get there, we'll do the session, Jay and Ed will lead, Jeff will lead worship, and then at 9 o'clock, we'll pack up again and we'll go back to our host homes. Saturday, you can kind of see the schedule there. We'll be there all day. Lunch will not be at the host homes, lunch will be at Springdale. We will provide the meal for you there. And so it'll be very conference speaker-ish. Worship in the morning with the main session, worship in the afternoon with the main session. And then at 3 o'clock, this is where we're going to get as much information to you as quickly as possible. But we're going to leave at 3 and do a couple of different things possibly. One, we might do a mission experience, like a mission project with your group that afternoon. Or we might just do a fun activity as an entire group, or just by grades. We're still kind of working on that, because we're trying to keep the cost down as much as possible. If you do a mission experience, it doesn't add cost. If you do a fun activity, it does add a little bit of cost depending on what you do. And then at 6 p.m., we're going to have dinner. That might be at the host home, but it also might be when we provide dinner here and do a worship experience at 7 o'clock. So we're still fluid with Saturday from 3 till the end of the night, but we're just kind of giving you an idea of what we're thinking. And then on Sunday will be a student day. It will be very kickoff Sunday-ish. It will be very November 3rd type, not tournaments. I ain't doing no tournaments again. Although it turned out well, it was just a lot of preparation. It will just be big, come be a part of what's happening that morning. So the tentative cost we're looking at is $40 to $45. We're trying to keep it as low as possible, but that will include all food, all transportation. It will include the conference fee, all the speakers, all that kind of stuff. Any activities we do, it will include all of that, and which is cheap for a D Now. There's a church in this area. They charge $80 for their D Now, and they have like 450 come. We don't have quite that legacy of doing it every year. We're hoping that this year we can develop a tradition and legacy that this is our D Now type experience the 1st of January, or the middle of January. There's no perfect time to do an event like this. There's always a bad time. And so we hopefully picked the best of the bad times. And so now what we need from you is we want you to be the leader for the small group. Okay, we know that often at camp, you can't be the one that leads because you got jobs and you can't be gone. We're hoping that since it's over the weekend that you can help be the leader of your group. Now, if for some reason you can't, like you're like, man, I've got a business trip to Tahiti, and I got to be in Tahiti. Okay, first off, sweet. But you know, if you're gonna be here, we need you to lead. Okay. Now, if for some reason you can't be here, then please don't just check out on us and disengage. We need your help in finding like some sub leaders and all that kind of stuff. And you know, find a host home for your group, which means you might start now. Calling parents, talking to kids, and be like, listen, we got this great thing going on in January. We need a host home for 2 nights. You know, if you don't want to do it at your home, who would be interested in helping us out with that? We want you to help get your group to attend Lift. I mean, we know that this weekend type thing, because it's new, we might have to do kind of a different type of a sell with our students because it's brand new. But we want you to work to get your students there. If there are scholarship issues, now don't go saying every kid goes free. But if there's a kid that you're just like, this kid needs to be here, or a kid comes to you and says, I have 3 lost friends that I want to bring, but they can't pay the whole amount, then let them know. Josh and I and Kristen, we will work with any type of situations. We're always going to ask a kid to pay something. You know what I'm saying? Even if they can pay $5 or $10 toward it, that'll help. But we never want cost to be an issue, all right? And then we want you to get your small group to invite to Sunday. Maybe your small group as the core group is the one that come to Friday and Saturday. But on that Sunday deal, with it being student day, because we filled up the student section and the next section over for November 3rd, Pastor went crazy. He's telling Josh and I, that's Sunday, I'll have church. If you notice, it's the first time ever he has ever walked over to that far section and stayed there. He's scared of that section normally, you know what I'm saying? But then the next section over has no one there. Well, we rocked that whole thing out, and you know, him and Buster are like, nah, we have church every Sunday, we had that. So we have kind of shot ourselves in the foot a little bit because we've done so well. And so on that Sunday, we're looking for that same type of response. You know, we want to just rock this room out, and then we, of course, want to get them over to worship. So, and then we really want you to try to attend the whole weekend. We understand with work schedules, that's not always an issue. But obviously, your group will have to have some kind of leadership. Like before, we will try to partner with the other campuses as much as possible. But here's the deal. Springdale and Fayetteville and possibly even College Avenue are going to be doing their student weekend that same weekend. And so, you know, if you have friends that you're like, you know, I don't want to be involved in student ministry forever, but I'd love to be involved this one weekend, this is a great weekend to get them involved. College students, if you guys have people that don't normally want to be involved but can do it one weekend, this would be a phenomenal opportunity. Like some of the lock-in people would be awesome to help out with that. So this is a broad stroke, and the reason that you're just now getting this is because we just now got everything settled as far as the date was set last week, and so now we were able to move ahead. Anybody have any questions about this? I know it's probably a lot, but yeah. Yep. We don't want them driving for this because it's just a liability thing. You know, quite honestly, some seniors are just horrific drivers, and some parents wouldn't want their kids driving with them. So even though they're like, you're a senior, you just get over it. You're not that cool to have to drive all the time. We're saving you gas, you know? And so let them know we want them driving with an adult because we're all going to caravan together. When you leave from your home group, it doesn't make sense to roll 5 deep, you know what I'm saying, to try to come together as much as possible. Now, in an emergency situation, we'll have to take that by context. If you're like, if your group goes from like 7 to 21 girls are coming, obviously we've got to look at that. But then if students ride with other students, there always has to be parental permission from each of those parents. It's never going to be like, my mom's cool with it. Sorry, you can't get in the vehicle until I hear your mom say that. So, but yeah. It's going to be that way with juniors and seniors, but you just got to let them know that you're okay.
And if they need to leave early for the weekend or something, they can drive their car to that home and then leave from that home.
Yeah. And we'll have time away for them. You'll know every time a kid has to leave. Like if they have to leave for a basketball game, You'll have a time away form that says Johnny will be gone from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is who's picking him up. This is who's bringing him back. So, yeah.
It looks like the drive is if we're going to go to Springdale, we can go in Springdale and back.
Yeah.
In the past, our thing is always the drive.
Right.
We don't have somebody to do it. Is there any possible way? Most of those homes would probably be a where we have a shuttle that can go back and forth to help in that way.
We thought about that. Here's the problem. Shuttle's a great idea. It adds a ton of cost to the weekend because, like, if we were to take the buses, it's $1.50 a mile that we pay. So it's not that it's not worth it. It's a great idea, but it does add a lot more cost. But if we have to do it, we'll definitely do it. Like, if we have to rock out the 2 buses and the school buses to do it, that'd be great. But it would take a large size group to make that financially not a big deal, or else that cost. We're trying to keep the cost down. So if we need to do it, we'll definitely do it. We'd rather people come and host homes be a part than just say, no, we got to figure it out. So we might have to go that route. But it is right now it's a cost thing, Shane. Just trying to keep that down as much as possible. Yes, sir.
What about combining groups for host homes? Or do you want to keep it separate?
As much as possible. Let me just tell you, if you feel like the best thing for that group is to combine, but for the most part, it makes most sense for Wendy. You're not Wendy. For Wendy. Wendy. For most of you, it makes sense for Wendy's group to be together. Now, if a group wants to come together, we're not going to be opposed to that. We just want it to be the best thing for the personalities and the unity and the connection in that group. So, now obviously, our 8th grade girls, they're all together already, so obviously it's going to make sense. That could be a massive host home, and so we'll have to figure that out. Any other questions about that stuff? Yes, sir.
On student day, are the students going to be involved in the worship service at all?
Maybe. We have always asked for that, and to have more of a place in the service. It really just depends on what we hear back from that. So, I don't know.
I mean, is that Julio's? I mean, I'm just...
No, I would say it's higher than him.
Okay.